So we've got some Atarka red. You know, we got Atarka's command tier, deal 3 damage, give your things +1/+1. We've got dorks like Burning-Tree and Kari Zev that help us go wide. We've got a bunch of 1 mana threats. We've got some Hazoret up here at the top for Dog Mom. We've got some reach and other threats in Bonecrusher and Wizard's Lightning. We've got some deserts in our mana base, so let's go ahead and dive on into some games with this and see how it feels today. See if we can light some people on fire if this isn't quite efficient enough for what's going on in the format. We did not play against any of the new Food Gak deck. Kenobi, thank you for the 23 months. Welcome back. I am not taking Legacy deck submissions for the time being. I'm gonna stick to some Modern and see how that goes. And keep my I don't wanna branch into too many things. Is this the correct bands? Oh, it is. Look at that. It is the correct link. Yeah, it's fine. Not amazing, but like, if you think about like you get rid of one of these lands, like 3 lands and these 3 cards is like a pretty good 6. Speaking of this card, Ragavan finally got his own individual card, and it might be the best red 1-drop ever printed. It's kind of absurd. Hey, Lion, thanks for the 19 months. Welcome back. These are 1-drop, Sedge. I guess if they have a removal spell, they might like take this and then kill this. I could also do the other way though too. We have 11 other 1-drops in our hand. Okay, so we get to play 1-drop on 1. Drawing a 5th land that isn't a desert is not what we're looking for. The game swords are muted. Good call. Let me fix that. They weren't low, they were off. Okay, sweet. So this top deck. Looks like the opponent has nothing this turn. It's decent for us. If Bomat Courier lives for a little bit, it would be excellent. Well, our deck is confirmed good. Yeah, I think the Snowlands mean I put them on the black aggro deck, and I'm gonna board in a couple of Chandras because she kills Spawn of Mayhem. I think I'm gonna pull a couple of Atarka's commands on the draw. I'm gonna bring in these Pillar of Flames because they exile stuff. Any chance for some cube content? I would take cube as a deck submission, but I don't know that I'm gonna play any cube of my own volition because I kind of just like have so many historic decks that I want to play at the moment. And Modern was reasonable yesterday, so a lot of constructed I would like to be playing at the moment. It's a D-straw. Alright, let's start there, I guess. So the next turn we could theoretically do these 2. Rip Time Warp indeed, Houdini. Thanks for the 2 months. I mentioned this on Twitter, but the actual worst part about the Time Warp ban is that I can't sing Rocky Horror Picture Show on streamers regularly anymore. As a newer Magic player, what is Modern? How is it different from Standard? So Modern is more comparable to Historic than it is to Standard. Modern is another one of Magic's non-rotating formats. So it does not get smaller, it only gets larger as more and more cards are added. There are also, like, one of the reasons why Modern is exciting right now in particular, they also, last year, they started doing these direct to Modern card releases, where they have newly created Magic cards that are now Modern legal that didn't go through Standard legality. But all new cards that go through Standard are also Modern legal. However, the format's a higher power level than Standard, obviously, so the number of new cards from Standard legal sets that end up being Modern playable tends to be much smaller on average. Yeah, they banned Time Warp yesterday at, like, the very end of my stream, Cody. The very end of the stream, they banned Time Warp. Yeah, I mean, we've talked about it a number of times. Like, what happened with Eldraine was definitely the exception more so than the rule. Like, Eldraine had some issues, but it's also really unfair to pretend that, like, what happened with Eldraine was the norm. Well, our opponent only played 4 lands total across 2 games, which is not super conducive to playing a game of Magic there. Fortunate. Control is free on Epic Game Store. Someone else mentioned that. It seemed good yesterday. We're about an hour into that one. We're going to be continuing my Control playthrough tomorrow afternoon, if you want to take a peek at some more of that. While we hang out and play this afternoon, after we play a couple of historics, we're going to be doing some Pogo PvP again. I mean, I can't not keep this hand, right? Let's draw a land, chat. This is a spell, and then we're going to draw a land. Didn't Theros and Ikoria follow Eldraine? I don't understand your comment. Follow Eldraine in what way? It's for the tip, Swift. For the follow, Mosh Pete. Hey Jeff, this is for Vodrak turns, so I do it right. Second deck of the day on whatever weekday would be best. Yeah, I could definitely make that happen. Teamer lands Fire Prophecy. What are you doing, opponent? What's the best way to get into Historic and Arena? Just open booster packs. If you check out my top 5 playlist, I recently did a video talking about what I think are the best sets to buy into with Historic and why. At some point, we're going to put 6 power into play, and it's going to be great, chat. Yeah, I'm going to run a little bit later than normal today. I was only planning, my late start was scheduled today. I was going to start at 10 and go till 3. Since I didn't start till 11, I'm going to do like 11 to 4. My plan is to do 2 historic decks and then a little bit of, do 2 historic decks and then a little bit of, or are they playing the banned deck? Did I just concede? I don't know that I really want to play against the deck that's not supposed to be legal anymore. No, not at all, Flaming Swag. Theros and Ikoria, if you look at them, like, had some playable cards in them, but they were nowhere near on the level as Eldraine. What's going on, Busy Hands? Thanks for the 5 months. Welcome back. Oh. Okay, so they're not playing the banned thing. They're just doing this instead. That's adorable. I like it. Okay. So if I Atarka's command, they block Soul-Scar Mage, they take 7. So I guess I just double BTE Pyromancer. Organax, thank you for the 2 months. I appreciate you up in that Prime. Welcome back. Yeah, I mean, that's what's happened here, right? Like, this person just did this game 1. Still seems pretty powerful. Come on, chill for a turn. I guess this line is worse against Sweltering Suns, but they didn't have Sweltering Suns last turn, so hopefully they don't have it this turn. Okay. This is gonna murder 3 of my things. Yeah, maybe I should just ship last turn, because it would have put them to 2, and then I would have killed them with Pyromancer this turn. Because now I don't have lethal, right? I guess I have lethal if they attack, technically. Yeah. I think I messed up my sequencing here. I think I should have commanded last turn and put them to 2 with the Viashino in hand. Mistake on my part. How many copies of Primal Tide they play? It's like a decent card to just draw and cast against things like Jeskai. Which is part of the reason why they were warping into it, or creativitying into it, even before the bans happened. Oh, they're also playing Coma. Man, their deck must stuff, their deck must stuff, Control, huh? Yeah, their build seems sweet. Neat innovation. For sure. Okay. They're at 1. Hopefully this is lethal. This is 13, I'm at 18. My sequencing definitely wasn't great this game. I think we would have beaten them already if I had better sequencing. But Until Dawn over a year ago, enjoyed it. Currently watching your YouTube playthrough and hope you enjoyed the story too. It was really good, 4-9er. Really fantastic storytelling thing for sure. Hey, Blast, thanks for the follow. Welcome to the channel this morning. Yeah, they have memory lapse or dead, so let's cast my spell. Yep. Cool. I deserve that, I think. Like I said, I had an opportunity that I could have pushed them to lethal earlier. And I decided to try and go wide and just didn't. Honestly, I don't know that I'm really. Ahn-Crop Crasher is probably good for when they floop something into play. Hazoret's probably not great against their, Maybe I want Hazoret more than Wizard's Lightning, actually. Let's try this. Thanks for Diner. Yeah, I've been enjoying doing the random other things we've been doing in the afternoons too. A lot of great games and stories out there. This isn't terrible. Basically 2/2 power 1 drops. I wish I could just, like, capture the natural light that's coming in right now and have it constantly. My lighting in here is really good when the sun's up like it is right now. Even without having anything fancy going on. Yeah, red aggro is definitely the good guy in this format, 100%. Jeff wants to steal the sun, what a monster, right? Alright, I think with Hazoret in hand, we definitely just go ahead and deal 5 with this. Just like hit you, pump, attack. Solid turn 3. You might need to relog to see the wild cards. If you tried Daylight Bulb. So the issue isn't, the issue is the positioning of the light. So I'm just in what would be a basement bedroom. So like the only lighting in this room that I'm in is a light bulb that's like up behind my head technically. And like I have like professional photography studio lights, but they just burn my eyes out when I have them on too long. And my ugly face isn't really what people are here for anyways, so I just like leave myself poorly lit in most of the time. Yeah, the ring light is pretty similar to the studio lights in my experience, and then it's just like heck, it's just really a lot of stress on the eyes. Like a lot of those types of things, like they don't assume that you're underneath them for, you know, 7 hours a day, you know, 5 to 6 days a week. Huh? Our one lander keep in game 1 didn't work out. We're on the draw this time. Would you believe that I took the Atarka red list that other people were playing on the internet and added 2 lands to it? I added a 4th Ramunap Ruins and 1 colorless desert. See, chat, they banned 5 mana Time Warp, but the people managing the ban list must have had a memory lapse because I left 2 mana Time Warp legal. Hey, Cynicalizer, thanks for sticking on. Camilla Craze, thanks for re-upping that Prime for the 3rd month. Welcome back. Love your content. Thanks for reminding me how good Magic can be and how tasty the tears of dirty control players are. What's going on? What's going on, Cred? Welcome back. I think we Pyromancer here because I want to hold on to this for after they floop something into place. That way I can make it not block as a surprise. Thanks for the 41 months, Weens. That's quite some time. Welcome back. Are they playing green? They are. Yeah, there's a coma in their deck that they flooped into play. Yeah, what's going on, Bombs? Everything's going swell for you. Welcome back to a live one. What's going on, Narski? Good afternoon. Huh. Just do this, right? What's going on, Signal? Yeah, Moto was good yesterday. We're gonna definitely do more Moto next week for sure. Definitely more Kiki Chord. And some other things that are either be viewer submissions or things that I dig up. Canadian 18, thank you for the 14 months. Welcome back. They're still playing Velocimus. Interesting. I mean, yeah, I guess it's still pretty good. What's going on, Rock? Thanks for the 14 months. Welcome back. So, Hazoret's the best draw on our deck. Probably dead here. That's true. It probably was right to attack with the Pyromancer because of the threat of creativity. Yes, we are going to use the seldom used mode on Atarka's command here that the 1/1 mode gives reach. Excuse me? Excuse me? Draconic intervention? Alright, I think we've died, chat. This gets to live here, but like... I suppose we can draw, I suppose we can draw exactly Hazoret to, like, maybe force a chump block before they kill us. Maybe. So we'll take a draw step here. 2 of those. This means I can Ramunap Ruins into draw Hazoret, force a chump block. Magical Honey Badger, thanks for the follow. Honey Badger don't care. I want to rock. Thanks for the 14 months. Welcome back. Hey, not Dog Mom. Close set overall. I think I definitely punted the first game by not being a little bit more aggressive with my positioning. Really sweet build from the opponent. Need to see them adapting and trying out some different things. In the deck minus Time Warp. You do get wild cards through your time arc. A couple people said they had to relog. If you were already logged in when it popped up, you needed to relog to get them. Yeah, all card games in general are pretty unwatchable if you don't know what the cards are that people are playing in the game that you're watching. So, if you're someone that's interested in trying to break into Modern, my recommendation would be when you're watching me stream, have Scryfall up on a second monitor or on part of your screen to look up cards as we go. But Also, if you're not interested in getting into Modern, I don't fault you. Getting into a format like Modern is a very daunting task. Like, the card pool is 2 or 3 times as large as Historic even. It has a ton of cards in it. And Time Warp ban will end the Blur Triangle. I don't. In fact, I don't think the Time Warp ban will have a super meaningful impact on the format other than removing the Time Warp deck. If you want to hear my thoughts, I gave a live reaction to the ban announcement at the end of yesterday's stream. It's about 10 minutes. It's up on YouTube. $10 to 20 times. I actually don't know. Another thing important to talk about when it comes to formats like Modern, you're talking about the sizing. While you might be technically correct in the number of cards that are actually legal, the number of playable cards probably isn't 20 times as large. And that's a pretty important distinction. I'm gonna go ahead and use this Atarka's command as just Boros Charm here. I'm only getting 1 damage out of the +1/+1, but I just want to be resource efficient this turn. Historic has 4,800 cards. Modern has about 15,000 cards, so almost exactly 3 times as many. Yes! Nailed it. I always love when my gut feeling ends up matching up with reality basically exactly. My stomach's so smart, chat. That's why I feed it lots and I have a dad bod. You gotta feed it a lot to keep it happy and smart. Feels like they're auto-passing, so I'm gonna attack here. We might get gut. My dojo doesn't contain fear, chat. I ain't scared. Yeah, honestly, Bob, I agree with you. I wouldn't be surprised if the number of cards that are actually playable between Historic and Modern is very similar right now. Nah, I think pushing 1 damage was better than getting Hazoret into play sooner. Rawr. Dog mom, don't mess around, chat. Might be only playing 2 copies of her might be wrong. Cube is the best limited format change right. Honestly, Cube might be one of Magic's best formats in general. It's like pretty peak casual Magic and casual Magic best Magic. Yeah, now this Sprite Dragon gets to, like, hang out and stonewall us a little bit. Oh, they're pretty obligated to block Hazoret here, right? Otherwise they die. Alright, so they're dead to Dog Mom's activation next turn. I almost put 3 copies of her in to start. I might add a 3rd copy before the next match. She's just absurd. They could theoretically, like, Faithless Looting and dump a bunch of birds into play and kill me here. Close. Alright, so Pillar of Flame is great here. I think Redcap Melee is good. Kills Crackling Drake too. Can also kill the 3/3 in a pinch. What do I want to trim? I'm bringing in a bunch of cheaper removal. Maybe we trim the Wizard's Lightnings. Maybe Atarka's command out on the draw. Last time you played Dog Mom, you started with 2, and then said the same thing and spent a 3rd wild card. Yeah, that sounds right. Yeah, and like Hazoret, because while she can get you awkward in terms of like being stuck in your hand and not being able to attack with her on exactly 4 with 2 of them, you could theoretically discard extra copies of Hazoret to herself. So like similar to like a Liliana of the Veil type effect, like her happening in multiples isn't the biggest of deals. Nice. We're really good at drawing Burning-Tree Emissary so far today, chat. Oh, you know what? Maybe I should Fervent Champion on 1, because that way if I draw another red 1-drop, I could red 1-drop plus Bomat off of the green-red here. Because like right now, if I draw another red 1, I could do this into this, then my other 1-drop is stuck here. It means there's theoretically 1 less card under this, but this is probably going to die before I draw with it anyways. So playing to the upside of having a colorless 1-drop to play is probably correct. Alright, didn't matter, but worth pointing out that I was sequencing incorrectly. That's true. If we drew exactly another Bomat, it wouldn't have been a big deal. You know, it's funny. There's some kind of bug with Twitch chat where every time I try to add a new moderator, it tells me unable to add moderator, but then it adds it anyways. I wonder if there's some kind of bug with the number of mods that we have on this channel. Yeah, chat, I ain't got time to play around sweepers, okay? Do we have too many mods? Maybe. Only a 6 damage Atarka's command, chat. Rats. So my hand is bad enough at this point that I'm gonna go ahead and just pass here, because if they go to kill the Bomat, I would like to change these in for 3 random cards, I think. I probably have one of the highest number of mods on Twitch. Yeah, it's likely accurate. How many mods do we have? I don't think there's an easy way to get that number. So fun fact on the Sunscorched Desert here, by the way. The Ramunap Ruins sacrifices any desert. So Sunscorched, when you have Ramunap, is a deal 3. Used to play those together back in Standard. Mark Fra and Corvo, thanks for the follows. Welcome to the channel this afternoon. Shreddo Lord, thanks for the half year. Welcome back. I appreciate the prime. Let's get a 3rd Dog Mom in here, huh? Manteca, thanks for the 3rd of year. That's true. I could reference how many 12+ month subs I have. Actually, I think I have that. I think I had a download of that, right? Subscriber list. Yeah, because we calculated what my average number of subbed months was a second ago. Data, filter, auto filter, tenure. I don't know how to sort. This application's useless. Does anybody know how to sort? Maybe I could import it into Google Drive or whatever. Is there a sort descending here? Where's the sort button? Open Office is so shitty. It's been a while since I don't have actual Excel in here. I just have Open Office, but I swear there was a, is it data? You have to go data sort. That doesn't appear to do it. Oh, and now I think it's locked up. All right, we'll fuck with that later. I'll import it into a spreadsheet application that actually works later. All right, extra dog mom. What am I cutting? It's just a Kari Zev. Yeah, Google Sheets is free, but it doesn't import from a CSV file on my computer super cleanly and easily. Oh, it finally thought about it and did it. Okay, I've sorted. I have information. I have the power. I currently have 1,260 people who have been subscribed for a year or more. Man, that's a long time. 1,260 have been with us for a year more. I guess that makes sense. We did a calc. The reason why I downloaded this list of subs is the other day someone asked what was our average length of subscription, and the average subscriber had been on the channel for 14 months. And yeah, I've been at this a while. Like, my channel's been partnered for 70 months now, and I've been streaming for longer than that. I'm an old hat, chat. Back when I got Twitch partner, there weren't strict requirements. You just like sent your application off into the void and hope that someone smiled upon you gracefully and blessed you with partnership. Morning, Charizard. Do you calculate run rate and velocity, and what's your growth rate over week to project income? So there's just so much variance in what my income is month to month that Christy and I usually just under budget. We're very privileged individuals that in general are comfortable. We also don't live particularly extravagantly. It's not like we spend money on a lot of things. What is budget? Yeah, we don't really have a super formal budget. When Christy and I do metrics surrounding my job, we assume that so long as I have at least 1,500 concurrent subscribers, this can be my full-time job. And like when we're doing magic stuff, like right now, I have almost 2,500 concurrent subscribers, so we're comfortably over that. I thought they got rid of the cards that don't let me play, chat. I was told these cards weren't fun and they were banning them. I don't understand, chat. I was told this wasn't fun and it had to be banned. Yeah, we got memory lapse too, right? Lapse, double time walk. It's all 1099, Bob. I cut the government a fat check at the end of each quarter. And usually we end up overpaying on that a little bit for the sake of not getting fined. Yeah, we got fined the first and I think the second year that I was streaming full time because we estimated taxes poorly. Because, you know, me, big man here on Twitch, I deserve to get fined for fucking up my taxes as opposed to the billionaires that don't actually pay taxes. It's such a good system, chat. It's such a good system. For people that aren't familiar how the US taxes work, I'm basically just required to guess what I'm supposed to pay, and if I guess wrong, they penalize me. That sounds reasonable. It's a very reasonable system that should not be changed at all.
Intriguing tonight. I think you will find my notes helpful.
Memory lapse. Glad you missed. Cards temporal sundering. Huh. Who's ready to stomp this root snare, chat? You ready to stomp the crap out of this root snare? Alright, I'm gonna try this. It's a shame we don't have one more land. Are they dead? Just dead. Sick. Okay, so... So Hazoret's awkward against the memory lapses, but also deals direct damage to the dome by discarding cards. They have ways to gain life? They didn't, right? Honestly, this might just be a click submit matchup, huh? I wasn't angry typing, I was just normal typing. I was messaging my wife on Discord. I think we just click submit. I did turn down the noise suppression in the most recent, version of RTX is getting a little extreme, so I turned down the noise suppression gate on that. So it's probably letting some of my typing sounds through a little bit better. Yeah, I just don't type like a boomer, chat. I type it like 100 words a minute a lot of the time. Fast typing people just think is angry. You just know what you want to say.
The path to thoughtfulness before action.
Okay, so with the memory lapse drawn to hand here, I think my plan is Sunscorched Desert your face, play Bonecrusher, and then I think we leave Narset at 1, so my deck doesn't actually draw cards. I just don't want them to draw another card. Hey, Tizdemet, thanks for 16 months. Welcome back. You can, Wolfwood. Good afternoon. Dan Waldera, thanks for the follow. Welcome to the channel this afternoon. Sal, thanks for the 3 years. Okay, so this costs me 3 currently. Awkward. What if I do this and then just smash here? I think I like it. If they want to block, Bone Daddy will stomp their thing. This is 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So we're still a little bit short here, unfortunately. Alright, hopefully we get another turn. Well, they didn't reveal Time Warp, step 1. I am forbidden from bringing MX cherries into my office. This is what I have. Bob and Jade actually sent me my lovely keyboard. It is an MX cherry. Alright, so they're dead, right?
The storied past holds our future.
Grr, arg, red aggro. Rawr. Good tech. Red deck go burr indeed. We just introduced our toddlers to cherries, the fruit, and she keeps forgetting what they're called and calls them tiny apples. That's great. They are kind of like tiny apples, to be fair. Is RDW good in this format? Nah, probably not. I mean, the better question is how bad can it really be? The floor on it's probably fine. Got a decent amount of efficiency behind us. So, we took the kids to the pool last night. Things are starting to open back up a little bit. Christy and I got our vaccine shots. We were talking in the car with the kids, and they both the boys, they're 6 and 7. They like really kind of get it for the most part, everything that's been going on. And Declan was asking about how, like, okay, well, the virus is starting to scale back, and there's, you know, more people have their shots and stuff. And he was like, well, how many people got the virus? And I was like, well, there were millions of people who had COVID. And he goes, well, how many people didn't have the virus? And I was just like, it made me realize that, and this is, I tweeted this part of it. I feel like I could host a game show where I give you responses to current political topics, and you have to guess if the response came from my 6-year-old or came from a conservative shock jock. I think there's a good chance that it would be genuinely difficult to distinguish which of the two it was coming from. Declan Declan or Joe Rogan. Yeah, it could be Declan or Joe Rogan would be basically be the idea. And it made me realize, you know, like the first couple of times it happened where he said stuff like that, I was like, man, my 6-year-old sounds like a little Republican, and I felt kind of bad. But then I thought about it some more, and it made me realize that the actual truth of what's happening there is most conservatives can't get past the level of critical thinking that my 6-year-old is capable of. It's not that my 6-year-old is bad, it's that they're deficient. Yeah, that's what it comes down to at a core level. Okay, so we have a Fervent Champion hitting them to 1. We are unfortunately dead on board, so these can't go to the dome. I have to kill the Brazen Borrower here. Definitely feeling like we don't have enough wizards in our deck. I might swap these to lightning strikes. The wizard's lightnings have felt super awkward with only 8 wizards. That's true. There's some that they're intentionally being obtuse for sure. Did Modern not go well, or is it just time for a Stark? I never had Modern on the schedule for today or tomorrow. We'll be doing another Modern League on, I think I'm going to do Modern Sunday, Monday, Tuesday into next week. Should Fervent be Gitu Lava Runner? I don't think we have enough instants and sorceries for Gitu Lava Runner to be consistently active. So I think I'd rather play Wizards Lightnings than, gosh, we're so close. If these had been lightning strikes, we'd have easily won this game, huh? We might still win, but we're definitely going to be in a worse spot. If you're playing 5-color Dividend Tournament, what cards would you board for Jeskai control? Honestly, probably just a bunch of Shifting Ceratops. If your deck can cast Shifting Ceratops, it's really good. The Search for Azcanta is an interesting piece of technology in the Phoenix deck. Yeah, Clothis is pretty good too. Can the 6-year-old put his pants on the right way? Jacob, at breakfast this morning, my wife came down and she goes, not only is your shirt on inside out, but it's also on backwards. Yeah, I think unfortunately they're gonna stabilize here now. Because they could take this hit. It was a double negative, so it was correct, right? Yeah, they're going to be able to flip the burn back here. So definitely lost this game directly because the Wizards' Lightnings were bad without having enough wizards. A land was lethal? Is that true? No, that's not true. Land doesn't do anything. They were post-combat. Yeah, I'm aware they're post-combat, chat. I'm saying I don't have any cards next turn that kill them, and on their next turn, they're going to kill us with Phoenix. So it wasn't that I was dying on their turn there, it's that I couldn't kill them on my turn. For people that are having a hard time following what I'm talking about. It's not that I was dead there, it's that I had no draws that that killed me or prevented me from dying on their following turn. Magic is and that's one of the things, when I concede in spots like that, one of the best ways you can grow as a player and get better is you want to be formulating a game plan. Level 1 is figuring out what your game plan is for the current turn. moving past that and advancing as a player generally involves what does my next turn look like and what does their next turn look like. And then you can even extend that out, you know, okay, we're here on turn 4. How does this game shape up that I actually win, or how does this game shape up that I lose? And then you can play to those outs or play around their outs. And it also, especially against decks like Jeskai Control, being able to think through those permutations in advance gives you the ability to go, okay, I'm dead because they untapped with Teferi, Hero of Dominaria for the second time. Their sequence of outs for me to get out of this are small and unlikely, so I should stop wasting my time. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. My full thoughts are in the bans video from yesterday that I posted at the end of the stream, but it definitely was surprising that we still have Brainstorm in the format. Feels like a strange decision. Rockavat, thanks for the follow. Corvac, thanks for the 15 months. Welcome back. Yes, Copperline Gorge is not legal in this format. Would really like to have it. Okay, well, if we draw an untapped land next turn, we can jam Dog Mama attack, which is great. Oh, good. Phoenix is playing Memory Lapse 2 now. This was the other card. They didn't even have to ban Brainstorm, chat. They could have just banned 2 mana Time Walk instead of 5 mana Time Walk. There were 31 Brainstorms and 23 Memory Lapses in the top 8 last weekend, and they chose to ban Time Walk. It's just so strange. So strange. They'd been doing so well, chat. Well, speaking of while my opponent resolves this Brainstorm here, I have the perfect shirt for playing Mono Red on today. We got the Attack You Alphas from Coalescence Apparel. They're lovely. Hashtag sponsored. I like to pick through my wardrobe of Coalescence shirts in the morning and figure out which ones line up with at least 1 or 2 of the decks we're gonna play over the course of the day, so we can get that key context shill in. My body is ready to draw another Rootbound Crag and slide off the face of the planet. Nailed it. Papi! Get into play, Dog Mom. Crunch. Can we update BNR to bans? So many commands, so little time. Is that it now? There we go. Perfect. I think I'm happy with how I boarded. Let's run it back. We're gonna swap these Wizards Lightnings to Lightning Strikes after this match. Now, there's just like 6 different things people could type for the ban list link. So like bans got updated, but BNR didn't. Is what happened there. What's going on, Dext? Thanks for the half a year. Welcome back. Here's a list of all the commands in the channel. Exclamation point help will get you a link to a page that has all the commands on it. Oh, look, I can properly remember how to cast this spell. It's exciting. The problem with leaving Brainstorm legal, chat, is that Brainstorm is only going to get better as this format gets more cards. Memory Lapse probably isn't going to get that much better. In fact, Memory Lapse has the potential to get worse, maybe, as other counterspells are printed. Knock on something, there isn't going to be a better cantrip than Brainstorm printed. Alright, so our best draw next turn is any 1 mana spell, so that way we can 1 mana spell land attack with Hazoret. Is Memory Lapse better than Counterspell? So, it's a contextual thing. There are spots where Memory Lapse is definitely better than Counterspell, but there's also a lot of spots where it's worse. So it's not just a cut and dry, this is always better, always worse type thing. Ponder would probably be better than Brainstorm. Preordain might be close. Preordain is only okay. But Preordain, what's the bar for Preordain? The bar for Preordain is better than Serum Visions. It's a low bar, but Preordain clears it. Meekrat, thanks for the 3rd of a year. Welcome back. Memory Lapse is marginally easier to cast. You are correct about that. That being said, I don't think there's any deck that's currently casting Memory Lapse that would be unable to also cast Counterspell. Is Preordain better than Opt? Yes, definitely. Preordain sees 50% more cards for the same amount of mana. Is the way you want to think about it. For Bant Casmina, thanks, Kid Martian. Play it as soon as possible. Sounds good. Opt versus Serum Vision. So Opt versus Serum Visions is it depends on what your deck is looking to do. Serum Vision sets you up better for next turn. Opt gets you to the cards you're cantripping towards right away. So that one, I don't think Opt versus Serum Vision is a strictly better, strictly worse comparison. Hats off to Dog Mom, chat. She is shoving people in tiny boxes so far today. Really, really fantastic red top end. I looked at a bunch of different Atarka red lists other people were playing, and like no one was playing Hazoret. It's so weird to me. She's so good every time we play this archetype. I think we're just gonna straight swap Wizard Lightning for Lightning Strike here. Remember, chat, even when my rank is a high number, it's still meaningless. I could win every match we play for the rest of the month, and I would still get the exact same prizes if I lost every match we played for the rest of the month. Washington State is offering a free joint with COVID shots. God bless. Meanwhile, other states in the country are still putting people in prison for marijuana-related things. Elect more Democrats, chat. And you too can have nice things like legal marijuana. It's actually, so the state where I live, Illinois, has a Democratic governor. And he's actually a billionaire, and he was, believe it or not, the billionaire governor we have was not the progressive candidate. He was not the person I voted for in our primary, but he's super exceeded expectations. We got legal marijuana, and not only did we get legal marijuana, but they expunged a bunch of records from people that had non-violent marijuana related charges, which is the correct way to do it. People should not remain in jail for things that are now legal and should have never been illegal to begin with. Illinois also passed $15 minimum wage phasing in over the course of the next 4 to 5 years. I think it's 4 years. I think it's 2025, but I don't know exactly. Yeah, looks like you did everything right, kid. Thanks for putting the link to the deck in the thing as well. All right, so I'm kind of expecting my opponent to have Wrath of God next turn. So I think the play here is Burning-Tree into Bomat into Burning-Tree into Atarka's command this turn, and then we use Kari Zev as a follow-up. We might still just be dead because they were on the play and had memory lapse, so they got to cast turn 2 mana Time Walk, which is really good in their control deck. We're putting them to 11, which, considering the fact that their control deck gets to play Lightning Helix, probably means this game is out of reach for us after they Wrath of God us. And we've talked about this before. Definitely not ecstatic that the Time Warp ban means they banned the Jeskai control deck's worst matchup. The opponent's archetype is super tedious to play against. And is very, very powerful. Basically have to draw Hazoret to have a shot here, I think. Helix, someone asked earlier, is our deck playable? And I think part of the answer to that question is directly related to the fact how much Lightning Helix you expect to play against. This card is basically a 2 or 3 for 1 against us in a lot of situations. And we drew a 5th land that's not a utility land here. There been any decks recently that you enjoy, any control decks recently that you enjoy playing against? Not really blue-based control. I feel like modern Magic designs, especially during the Fire design era of Magic, removed a lot of the aspects of the game that I enjoyed playing against control decks. Things like Teferi, Hero of Dominaria, and Dovin's Veto, cards like those really feel like they've removed some of the more interesting decisions from the control games that Magic could otherwise be generating. It's possible that 0 copies of Fry in our sideboard is wrong. Yeah, I think playing against tap-out control decks can be interesting on average. Non-blue-based control or things like Grixis. So I think I'm trimming the reach for more cards that play to the board. Haste creatures are good. I mean, it's not even just Shark Typhoon. Like, the control deck in this format is definitely a sum of its parts. What is an example of those decisions? So, a big dynamic change with the control decks is the advent of uncounterable spells. Both Dovin's Veto and Shark Typhoon are uncounterable spells. Control Mirrors, for example, where both players had access to counter magic, used to be very intricate sequencing games where one player would finally pull the trigger after sculpting land drops and kind of bobbing and weaving back and forth and having the right mix of counter magic when you think you can punch through. And now you could just kind of jam willy-nilly because you have something like Dovin's Veto that's just like, nah, fuck that spell, it's countered for 2 mana. They didn't have things like Shark Typhoon that, like, are an uncounterable threat that you just get to GM for free, because even if your opponent does have an answer to it, you still drew a card. Green mana next turn would be absurd. We'd love to draw running lands here. Well, speaking of lands, they don't have one, so deal. Just play Whirlwind Denial, right? Do it! We found the one control player still registering timely reinforcements. Your red aggro deck is just never beating Timelies and Lightning Helixes. Just shrug and move on to the next one. The Jeskai control archetype really punishes decks looking to play honest Magic. You can't just attack fairly into decks full of Wrath of Gods and Lightning Helixes that also don't have bad matchups against the rest of the format. I mean, Timely isn't even just a did aggro hurt you. Timely is pretty bad against like decks like Gruul and stuff like that kill you by miles instead of inches. Like, Timely is specifically good against decks like ours that are trying to nickel and dime a little bit, but decks like ours largely aren't played as metagame forces because they're largely edged out of the format by things that generate bigger swings. So, like, it's definitely excellent against us, but a lot of the other decks that have aggressive lands in this format go much bigger than something like Timely can care about. Yeah, and Gruul has a lot of tramplers. Past just Embercleave, things like Spellbreaker make the 1/1s a lot less meaningful. Yeah, questing beast as well. Not trample, but just like runs right past the 1/1s. As someone who's played a lot of modern, Timely is not the powerhouse in this format that it was in older Magic formats. All right, what am I doing with this hand? So I'm putting 2 cards on the bottom, probably just these. Decent 5. You could fight through a Helix or 2. That's not been my experience at all, HR Beck. In fact, when you submitted this deck saying that you expected it to dumpster Jeskai control, I don't think that's relatively accurate at all. I would expect whatever your sample size is to not be representative of the average experience. Like, that last match we just played, they sweep the board and then they cast a Helix to stabilize and the game ends is like the average expectation. Their deck has so much card selection with Brainstorm into expressive iteration that expecting them to have 4 mana sweeper and 1 lightning helix every game is not unreasonable. I think that's a completely inaccurate and unreasonable take, Conscript. Questing Beast is barely playable in this format. In fact, there's lots of variations of Gruul that don't even bother casting it. Yeah, I don't think you can beat Jeskai control with this archetype back. It just doesn't play cards that are good against it. This is exactly the style of deck that Jeskai control beats. The correct solution is play something else. This will be a Shark Typhoon that each one of my 1-power things. I'll take 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 at least, down to 8. I theoretically have 2 points here, but realistically gonna get Fielded Ruined. I mean, I wouldn't call Questing Beast unplayable, but to say it's like this busted auto-include is not accurate. I agree that the red-white mid-range deck against Jeskai control is fine, but that's not an aggro deck. That's not a small edges aggro deck like what I'm talking about here. It's a fundamentally very different archetype that has tools like a Danto Vanguard that provide staying power. I'm not saying the Jeskai control deck has no bad matchups, chat. Like, there's decks that, like, have okay matchups against it. I'm saying the deck that we're currently specifically playing, I'm just gonna concede this match because it's frustrating and I don't feel like playing it. Well, I don't care about our rank. I'm gonna play a match that we can actually have a decent time in. Sure, but, like, beating people because they're making mistakes doesn't mean your matchup is good. I actually think Jeskai Control is a much worse brew killer than Rogues, because Rogues you can at least sideboard meaningful hate cards against. Things like Cling to Dust, Relic of Progenitus, Rest in Peace. These cards have really big impacts on the Rogues archetype, whereas like Jeskai Control, you can't just board a card to beat them. Like, the closest thing is probably Big Chandra. Yeah, I don't know, chat. I don't know if I can take just like endless Jeskai Control on the ladder. Their ban, the more I think about their ban decision yesterday, the more fucked up it was. Like, just how many Jeskai Control decks are we gonna play against in a row? Like, anybody with a brain could have told them that this was gonna be the result of what they did yesterday. Yeah, I'd much rather play against the Turns deck than play against this Jeskai deck. Yeah, I mean, the Jeskai deck players turning into that. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe we will. We're gonna try and get one or two more non-Jeskai matches in with this, but maybe we will just be done with Historic and play Cube Bullets up. Definitely not been a great experience so far today. Modern was good, and the Cube is fun. So, yeah, I agree, Pittsdougal. I agree. You could have chosen a card to ban at random and gotten a better result. The fact that we're Mythic early also doesn't help. There's not that many people in Mythic. Like, we've played against the second time we played against this person. At least this person usually isn't playing Jeskai. I think they were playing the blue-green Time Walk deck last time. Hardwag, thanks for the prime. Welcome to the channel. You ever queue into sub-mythic when shoot mythic? Occasionally. The queue time's got to be sitting for a while for that to happen. Alright, so with that play, I think we still just do this. I want to save my 1-drop to redeploy on a turn where they have mana up for a counter spell, so that way I can multi-spell. Wizard's response to no one playing Standard is making Historic terrible is pretty genius. Oh, it's funny because it's sad. Alright, chat, I'm gonna let you in on a little secret. All of the people that keep telling me their deck dumpsters Jeskai, most of you are wrong. In fact, I'd wager all of you are wrong, but I'm just gonna settle for most rather than being all-encompassing. And that's the same story you hear every season, right? There's always, whenever there's a best deck, there's always 600 people that are like, my deck beats the best deck. And it's just like, well, does it really? Hey, what's going on? Yeah, Sean's good people. We're lucky to have him in the Magic community. S tier content creator. I think we just stomp with the Bonecrusher, so that way if we draw a land next turn, we can double spell. We might also get memory lapsed off of this, then we guarantee don't have a land next turn, but then we get to just like cast a 4/3, which seems fine. Oh yeah, quench me, daddy. Yeah, this is fine. Opponent's deck, aside from Breeze and Borrow, I'd be surprised the opponent's deck has too much that plays to the board. I suppose they could be a flash deck. Could be worried about something like Night Pack Ambusher, perhaps. Alright, chat, my dojo does not contain fear. Let's get him. Okay, so they are on flash. Oh, chat, moments before the disaster. They blocked the first striker, so my creature doesn't even die. Good night. My friend. All right, so... Strike was lethal, chat. Chat, I made my opponent click the concede wheel. It was also a lethal line. I think we want Chandra for killing wolves on occasion. I wonder if we board in Redcap because giving up a land to kill the wolf is worthwhile in a lot of situations. That's probably true. Do I want Crasher? Probably not. Their threats are instant speed. We're resolving Chandra against blue-green flash. So they're going to have fewer counter spells post-board against our low-to-the-ground aggro deck. So remember, one of the most important things to think about when you're sideboarding is you're not sideboarding against the deck you just played against. You need to be sideboarding against the deck you're going to be playing against. And they're likely wanting to pull down their curve against us and have more cards that play to the board. It's okay. If we draw a second land, it's pretty reasonable. Even if we miss on the second land, I have 2 cards I can cast, so, like, not terrible either way. 4-drop is not the droid we're looking for. My body is ready to draw. Why would you do this to me, Yish? Why would you put that bad mojo in the air? Is a time warp band been noticeable on the ladder to yes, there is 1,000 more times Jeskai control than there was yesterday. It's been super miserable. The ban was an incredible mistake. They banned Jeskai control's worst matchup. Alright, we'll take game 3 on the play. Ah, thanks, I hate it. You and me both. You and me both. We are going to do some more Pogo PvP at the end of the stream. I'm excited. I'm an ace level trainer, chat. I'm a big deal. cute. How's spreadsheet magic? It was excellent. We played one viewer submission that was an absolute trash fire, but the 2 decks that I put together myself were both a lot of fun, and we played a lot of good games of Magic yesterday in Modern. I'm gonna play my Haste Threat pre-combat here. Next turn, I probably want to start holding up interaction because they're gonna be the Night Pack Ambusher turn. Hey, Torday and Speed Z, thanks for the follows. Welcome to the channel this afternoon. All right, they're at 9, and I've got 7 points in hand and a bunch of points on board. Definitely not recasting this. Want to hold up a burn spell here. Whole lot of nothing going on, eh? All right, your move, Yugi boy. What did they keep? I kept, like, Warrant Memory Lapse? I mean, to be fair, if you want to build a deck to only beat Jeskai control, you just, like, play a bunch of shifting Ceratopses and, like, 6 mana Chandras and, like, hope for the best. You could probably build, not even probably, you could definitely build something narrow and specific to beat up Jeskai control. Nukem Gandhi, thanks for the 2 months, welcome back. All right, let's try and get one more non-control matchup in. This deck's actually been a lot of fun against everything that's not Jeskai control. I'm literally building that deck right now. Play some copies of Into the North. Yeah, they banned Time Warp yesterday. Like big sillies. Jasper Sentinel. 5th land. Yikes. Do I assume they're elves and concede so they can't sideboard against me and I get game 2 on the play? Because my Bomat Courier doesn't have text and I have 5 lands in hand. I think it might be tactically correct to concede game 1 and assume they're on elves. Like from a pure game theory optimal standpoint, I think my odds of winning this game with this hand are low. And I'd like to just get to sideboard and they don't, basically. And like obviously there's a chance that we're streaming, they know what we're playing because I'm streaming, but I think in the dark, it's optimal to concede there. All right, I think we pulled these out because they get chump blocked. We'll bring in our extra removal spells. I get some Sunscorched Desert. It's land number 23. I'm cutting my 4 drops. They could be some kind of Growl. I'm curious how often you stream. I think stream sniping on Magic Arena is pretty rare. And, like, just because our opponent would know what we're playing, like, it doesn't imply that our opponent's stream sniping, right? Like, we very frequently queue into viewers on the stream, and, like, they close the stream and don't stream snipe while we're playing. They just play the match normally. But they'd still know what we're playing, right? So I wouldn't gain value by conceding if someone like, oh, I know Jeff's on Atarka Red because I was watching his channel. Crasher probably doesn't do much against elves. Kinda. So, like, if I am killing a lot of their Dorkos, there's some value in what Crasher could do here, right? Yeah, Magic Online, however, we had someone that was, like, 99% ghosting when we played Modern yesterday. They named 3 very interesting things with their meddling mages. What do you think a Pillar of Flame upstairs attack for 6? I think I'm into it, chat. Kind of set the mood. Just let you know what the game's about. Yeah, their username was in chat. I don't know. In general, I tend to shy away from saying people are sniping because I think a lot of the time people kind of use that as a crutch to kind of complain about their opponents making good plays. That was a good draw. Huh? Do I want to kill a land war elf here? Probably. Puts them to 2, and then Ramunap Ruins is lethal. Yeah, this is definitely right. All right, untapped land is lethal here. That is... mean. That could get us a surprise lethal on the line. But I'm the best player ever. How can anybody beat me without cheating? Yeah, exactly. Big mood. Sick. All right. So no blocks. Kill you with this. See, chat, I told you. You kill a little bit, you get into a racing situation. An effect like Ahn-Crop just makes these creature decks very difficult to race you accurately. It messes up the combat math a lot. Lets you sneak in things like this. Yeah, but like... to set a low bar, like, Cryptarian's on, like, a different level when it comes to streaming than most Magic streamers are. Like, Croakies is maybe Cryptarian adjacent in terms of popularity, but even then, like, I'm pretty sure Crypt hits, like, 5 digits worth of concurrence, right? Is that accurate? It's been a while since I've looked at Hearthstone metrics, or Battlegrounds, or whatever he plays. Now I'm curious. Oh, that's not how you spell his username. I don't have the time to look it up. This is fine. Sure. All right, my burn spells are now reserved for their face potentially. NL_Crip is his Twitch. Oh, they don't have another land, chat. Oh, well, that's exciting. He averages 8,000 viewers according to the Twitch metrics site. That's like a factor of 3 above Croakies even. Here's a good question. I saw someone post this question on Twitter. Moments before the accident, do you consider something like Hearthstone Battlegrounds a card game? Are auto battlers card games? It's like Talum and Holati. Thanks for the follows. Good afternoon. Goodbye, elf friend. you're still deck building. I mean, drafting, it's a drafting game, but like there's plenty, like, is fantasy football a deck building game? That's a drafting game. What do you ever see those like alignment charts? Is chaotic evil fantasy football's a card game then? I think would be the natural conclusion extension of this line of thinking. Yeah, I feel like auto chess is supposed to be its own genre. Like TFT and whatever. Like, they're good games. They're definitely drafting games, but I think lumping them in with card games is probably wrong. I definitely think they have a lot of parallels. Like, card game players find appeal in games like that because they're similar genre and leverage similar skills, but at any rate, outside of the Jeskai control matchup feeling like a smoldering dumpster fire because our deck just doesn't beat Wrath of God and Lightning Helix, our deck felt very reasonable in basically every other game that we played, which kind of lines up with my experience in the format in general in that, Jeskai control is kind of the sweet deck brew killer. Like, it's just like cards like Lightning Helix and Memory Lapse and Wrath of God are just so generically powerful that they beat up on things that aren't designed specifically to try and hose Jeskai, like a bunch of Shifting Ceratops or Chandra Torch of Defiance or something like that. And unfortunately, we don't have enough green in here to cast something like Shifting Ceratops, and we don't have enough total lands to cast something like Awakened Inferno Game 1, so I think if you're okay punting the Jeskai control matchup, this deck seems very reasonable. I felt like we had decent tools against things like Phoenix, but I don't think that one's fixable, so if you don't want to auto-concede to that one, this probably isn't a good choice. You have a general ETA on when your deck will get played. I'm going to be live Sunday this weekend, Kid Martian, so probably Sunday morning. You are correct.